It's more of my dream slipping away. It's more of what I hoped for slipping away. I just don't know how to let it go.
The cameras may have stopped rolling, but the real storm had only just begun. In a secret, off-camera confrontation that fans never saw coming, Meri and Janelle finally faced Robin, and what followed was nothing short of explosive. There were tears, betrayals, truths that cut deep, and moments so raw they could never have aired on television. This wasn't just a conversation, it was a reckoning, and it changed everything. So what really happened when the lights went down and the masks came off? Buckle up, because you haven't heard this side of the story. As season 19 began to wind down, Sister Wives fans were left staring at the ruins of what was once a united, polygamous family. Between the tragic loss of Garrison Brown and Kody finally confessing that he had a favorite wife all along, one thing became heartbreakingly clear: the love. It's dead. Season 19 wasn't short on chaos, but 3 shocking moments stood out, and they didn't just rock the family. They redefined it. For over a decade, Janelle Brown was known as the brains of the operation, the woman who kept the books balanced and the household budgets tight. From the very beginning, she was the one with the head for numbers, the one who made sure every family decision made financial sense. In fact, if Janelle had her way, the Browns would have already built their dream homes on Coyote Pass long ago. But all of that was thrown into chaos when Kody accused her of mishandling family money, a claim that turned loyal fans into skeptics overnight. During the explosive tell-all, Janelle revealed something shocking. "I never felt like I had control over my own money," she said, because everyone was pulling from the same account. At first, the idea of a shared family account seemed fair, a symbol of unity, but over time, resentment festered. "We started out weighing in on what bills to pay, who needed what, and when," Janelle continued. "But then it all changed. Kody just started taking out money, and I had no idea where it was going. It was just gone." A mother of 6, Janelle had devoted her life to this family. Now she was left feeling powerless, used, and betrayed, but Kody wasn't having it. "I was a father to 18 kids and a husband to multiple women," he snapped. That money wasn't just Janelle's business. The moment landed like a punch to the gut. Fans were stunned. The shared financial trust that once bound this family together had crumbled into suspicion and silence. And perhaps worst of all, it wasn't just about the money. It was about control, respect, and realizing that loyalty only went one way. Kody was quick to shut down the accusations, pushing back with his signature defensiveness. He claimed, "I was a father to 18 kids and a husband to more than just Janelle." There were a lot of places that money needed to go that had nothing to do with her. But instead of easing the tension, his words poured gasoline on a fire already burning. That old saying echoed in the background: money really is the root of all evil. Then came another bombshell, this time from Meri Brown. For years, she was one of the few who had truly welcomed Robin with open arms. She had gone out of her way to support Kody's decision to bring Robin into the family, hoping to foster unity. But what she received in return was betrayal so subtle and so prolonged. It cut deeper than any single moment ever could. During the reunion, Meri opened up her voice laced with bitterness and clarity. She remembered how Kody had once said he wished his other wives were more like Robin. It stung then. It stings even more now. She said plainly, "I don't think it's fair for him to say that." Kody didn't just love Robin more, he idolized her. He placed her on a pedestal that no other wife was ever meant to reach. He made it clear, Robin wasn't just a favorite, she was the standard. Meri looked into the camera and said with quiet defiance, "We're all supposed to be Robin." "I'm sorry, I'm Meri. I'm not going to be Robin." Her voice cracked, but her resolve didn't. "I'm going to be my own person. I don't want to be her." And just like that, Years of tension snapped into clarity. Robin had never truly been her friend. She had been a placeholder for peace, a mirage of loyalty. But in reality, she had ghosted her, used her, and left her behind. And when the realization fully landed, Meri knew it was time to walk away. From Robin, from the lie, from Kody, but the truth train wasn't stopping. After a full decade of gaslighting, tension, and speculation, Kody Brown finally admitted what everyone already knew. He loved Robin more. It wasn't a slip of the tongue. It was a full confession, and it came like a thunderclap. He broke all his own rules for her. The long, indulgent courtship. The secret kisses. The premarital sex, yes, even that. He crossed every boundary he had claimed to uphold with his other wives. He helped her pick out a wedding dress while still married to 3 others. And when he finally said it out loud, "I just prefer Robin," no one was shocked. Just exhausted. Just done pretending. But the moment that truly lit the fuse. A luggage rack. That's right, a simple hotel luggage rack became the symbol of an empire built on inequality. When traveling, Kody always took the rack for his things, leaving his other wives' bags on the floor. But when Robin was asked if she got the luggage rack, she smirked. Yes, the host pressed her. "Did you know it was a pet peeve for the others?" Her response? Cold, detached. "I had no idea. Maybe I'd put my luggage there first." I don't know, it's not a big deal. But it was a big deal. A huge deal. Because it symbolized everything. The favoritism, the hierarchy, the emotional imbalance. Her indifference spoke volumes. She knew exactly where she stood in Kody's world at the top. And she wasn't apologizing for it. For years, Robin Brown was Kody Brown's undisputed favorite, his legal wife, his emotional confidant, the one he shielded, praised, and protected while the others were pushed to the margins. She had the luxury, she had the title, she had him. But as the other marriages crumbled into dust, all that remains now is a severely fractured bond between Kody and the woman he claimed to love most. And in season 19, that once unshakable bond, it's cracking. Robin, once the soft-spoken peacemaker, is now visibly unraveling. Her calm exterior has given way to resentment. Her eyes tell a story her words try to hide. She's bitter, she's tired, and for the first time, she's angry. She didn't sign up to be the last woman standing in a family built on shared love. An equal partnership. She wanted a unit, a tribe, not a sulking husband and a broken home. And yet, here she is, bearing the weight of the entire collapse. She's become his therapist, his punching bag, his audience. And it's wearing her down. Over and over again, Robin has said she didn't just want Kody, she wanted the family. But now, all she has is the last piece of a shattered dream. And that piece, it's slowly falling apart. Defensive Kody Brown, still drowning in the fallout of his shattered marriages. Seems like a man lost in the ruins of a dream he once broadcast with pride. While it may be difficult for many to feel sympathy for Robin, the signs are undeniable she's paying the emotional toll. The spark that once lit up her face is fading, and for the first time, she doesn't seem thrilled to be the last woman standing in a plural marriage that's now all but dead. Kody has flat out admitted he's no longer interested in living a plural lifestyle. Yet Robin, still clinging to the remnants of the past, holds onto a fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, she could try again someday. But that dream is rotting at the core. Kody's carefully crafted identity, the noble patriarch balancing multiple wives, children, and faith-based ideals, is crumbling fast. For years, he presented himself as the backbone of the Brown family. But the truth is clearer than ever. Kody has always been the high-maintenance one. He's vain, self-obsessed, and seemingly convinced the entire show revolves around his ego. That self-image is now in freefall. Christine left. Janelle walked away. Meri finally severed the cord. What's left is Kody and Robin, isolated in a cold, echoing house surrounded by cameras, silence, and the bitter taste of what could have been. The dream has died, and Kody still won't take real responsibility. Instead, he deflects, pointing fingers at the wives for not getting along, blaming the pandemic, doing everything but looking in the mirror. His so-called leadership, built on pride and control, was never built to last. And now, as Robin stands alone beside him, that fragile foundation is visibly cracking. The emotional exhaustion is all over her face. She's no longer a partner, she's his counselor, his verbal punching bag, the last person applauding him from a shrinking front row. That isn't a marriage, it's crisis management.
When it comes down to money.
Why?
I think that he's going to screw Meri and Janelle completely.
Recently, Kody was spotted wandering through Dallas airport, alone, visibly angry. It raises the question, has Robin finally reached her breaking point? Has the last threat holding this entire facade together finally snapped? 19 seasons of escalating heartbreak, tangled loyalties, and imploding ideals have led to this moment. With the final installment of season 19's tell-all now aired, it feels like the curtain is closing not just on a season, but on an entire era. The Brown family, once the face of plural marriage on television, now looks like a cautionary tale about fractured bonds and the illusion of control. Kody has made it unmistakably clear. He's out, done, finished with plural marriage for good. In his one-on-one tell-all, he declared he wouldn't walk that path again, not even if the opportunity presented itself. A stunning statement from a man who once preached that plural marriage was divinely commanded. And while Robin still holds out hope for what once was, she's now hitched to a man who has given up on seeking more wives. Instead, he now pours everything into her, calling it divine love, and getting angry when anyone criticizes him. For it, that devotion doesn't extend to his ex-wives, with whom the damage is clearly beyond repair. His relationships with Christine, Janelle, and Meri haven't just deteriorated, they've disintegrated. Christine reportedly filed for child support before the tell-all was even filmed, which might explain Kody's bitter tone whenever her name surfaced. The infamous battle over Coyote Pass is finally over, with the land sold for $1.5 million. Janelle and Meri each walked away with a 25% share, and just like that, another chapter closed. With no property left to argue about and no wives left to reconnect with, Kody's storyline feels eerily final unless TLC decides to squeeze more drama out of his bitterness and nostalgia. Even Kody himself has hinted it's time to move on. He said it plainly. He wants his ex-wives to stop talking about him and just move on. And maybe that's exactly what's happening, not just on screen, but among the viewers too. Online chatter has shifted from curiosity and theories to a weary kind of acceptance. After all the emotional wreckage, the betrayals, and the endless cycles of conflict, many fans are asking the same question. Is this the end? Has Sister Wives finally run its course? One social media thread captured the exact frustration countless longtime viewers have been voicing. This story has lost its soul. I'm at the point where I'm sick of the repetitive nonsense. One fan vented, echoing a sentiment that's become increasingly common. I haven't felt this way since the catfishing years. Another fan jumped in, exasperated by the show's recycling of worn-out plot lines. I'm rewatching those old catfishing episodes, and I can't stand how they reintroduce the whole thing like it's brand new every single time. Good grief, we're not suffering from dementia, TLC. And yet, despite the burnout and emotional fatigue, many believe the network won't pull the plug anytime soon. They're making bank. One viewer pointed out, they won't end it until it stops being profitable. Talk of spin-offs is heating up, especially ones that might follow the ex-wives as they rebuild their lives post-Kody. Do you think they'll do a spin-off for the divorcees? One curious fan asked. I'd watch that, but no more Kody. And Robin for me. That's the turning point. Viewers aren't just tired of the show, they're actively asking for its reinvention, minus the man who once stood at its center. For others, the emotional weight of the recent season, especially after the heartbreaking loss of Garrison Brown, was simply too much to bear. Honestly, I hope it's over, one viewer wrote. The show hasn't been the same since Garrison passed. I don't want to watch anymore. That comment speaks volumes. The tragedy didn't just impact the family, it shifted the entire tone of the show. What began as a series about plural love and resilience has become a portrait of grief, disconnection, and deep-rooted dysfunction. Fame, many believe, hasn't just fractured the marriages, it's harmed the children, exposed wounds, and magnified toxicity. With the family now completely splintered, the land sold, and the once proud patriarch fully embracing monogamy, it's difficult to imagine what's left to film. TLC may try to squeeze a few more episodes out of the wreckage, but the emotional momentum that once kept the audience invested is fading fast. The arcs that once felt urgent, moving, and real are either resolved or running on fumes. Whether it's the final chapter or the start of new solo paths for the women, one thing is becoming impossible to deny. The Sister Wives era as we knew it is crumbling. At the center of this reckoning is Janelle Brown, who didn't hold back. During her tell-all interview with Suki Krishnan, in a raw and deeply personal exchange, Janelle confronted the past, especially the early days of Kody and Robin's relationship. She revealed that their courtship lasted over a year in eternity in the world of polygamy, where drawn-out dating is considered improper and disrespectful to existing wives. Kody was already married to 3 women at the time, yet allowed this prolonged romantic interlude to unfold with Robin, ignoring the damage it was doing to the foundation of his family. Janelle didn't mince words. Kody used to call her his favorite wife before Robin came into the picture, but once she arrived, everything changed. His attention shifted, his priorities warped, and the other wives were left in the cold. That shift didn't just create emotional distance, it created an irreversible fracture. The so-called OG3, Christine, Janelle, and Meri were slowly pushed to the margins until they had no choice but to walk away. They now speak openly, even boldly, about how unwanted they felt, how emotionally isolated they became, and how Kody and Robin's favoritism bordered on cruelty. Fans, moved by Janelle's vulnerability and strength, have begun rallying around her. Many believe it's time she got her own dating show, a chance at a fresh start, a new love, a second act. During the tell-all, she openly admitted she's not asexual, but she still believes in romance, and that she's open to dating again if the right man comes along. Her honesty resonated deeply. After years of being overshadowed, silenced, and emotionally sidelined, Janelle is finally stepping into her own light. Christine has remarried. Meri is also exploring new possibilities. And Janelle is finally focused on herself, on her healing, her journey, her future. During that same powerful conversation, Janelle made a revelation that even caught Suki off guard. She admitted that if she had dated Kody as long as Robin did, if she'd seen that side of him, removed from the charm and the rehearsed patriarchal performance, she likely never would have married him. I might have seen him for a little bit more of who he was, she said, gotten sort of off the charm ride. It was a bombshell moment, not because it was shocking, but because it was so incredibly honest. Janelle isn't trying to erase her past, she's acknowledging it, accepting it, and using it to move forward. And then there's Christine, who dropped her own truth bomb during the tell-all. She pointed out that Kody and Robin's relationship seemed far more physically intimate than any other pairing. Even before they were officially engaged, she referenced their engagement photos, how touchy, handsy, and connected they were, clear signs that something deeper was happening long before the rest of the family understood it. The signs were all there, but now they're being spoken aloud, named, and owned. Season 19 didn't just reveal drama, it laid bare the fractures that have long been buried beneath the surface of the Brown family. From legal battles over the infamous Coyote Pass land, ultimately settled in court, to emotional reckonings and explosive confessions, this season has been a reckoning. And as the dust settles, what remains isn't just a broken marriage, it's a broken narrative. One that no longer sells the dream it once promised. One that now asks, what's left when the foundation cracks and there's no one left to hold it up? Another devastating chapter that cast a long shadow over the season was the tragic loss of Garrison Brown, a young life taken far too soon in his mid-20s. His death sent ripples through the fractured family, and for the first time in a long while, the Browns reunited not for celebration or resolution, but to lay Garrison to rest in a quiet plot in Wyoming. The grief was raw, and so was the awkwardness, as many of them hadn't shared a space since walking away from the control and chaos of Kody Brown. It was a sobering moment, a collision of heartbreak and estrangement, and it lingered long after the funeral scenes faded from the screen. In the special one-on-one episodes, Kody and his final remaining wife, Robin, were pressed on whether plural marriage was ever going to be a possibility again. Kody didn't dodge the question. He faced it with the bluntness of a man who seemed both cornered and exhausted. Sitting across from interviewer Suki Krishnan, Kody walked through his turbulent relationship history and was asked point-blank if he'd ever consider taking on more wives in the future, something that once defined his entire life. Longtime fans remember that Kody once stood as the head of a 4-wife household, but now, legally and emotionally, only Robin remains. Christine was the first domino to fall back in late 2021, publicly announcing her separation from Kody. Once she had the courage to walk, it didn't take long for Janelle and Meri to follow. In their individual one-on-ones, each woman laid bare the reasons they had finally chosen themselves over the dysfunction they had tolerated for too long. Christine spoke with painful clarity about how her marriage had grown cold, devoid of physical affection and emotional connection. Janelle was more fiery, revealing that Kody would lash out when he realized his wives were slipping through his fingers. Instead of fighting for the marriage, he fought to retain control. When it was Kody's turn to speak, he seemed determined to recast the narrative in his own image. He showed up not just to share his side, but to defend it fiercely. Some viewers noted how quickly his tone turned defensive, his body language tightening with every tough question. Others saw flashes of anger, as though he were still trying to make sense of losing everything he once ruled over. At one pivotal moment, Suki reminded Kody that Christine, Meri, and Janelle had all left him. With only Robin by his side, wasn't he, by definition, now monogamous? The question hung heavy, and Kody didn't hesitate with his answer. No, he shot back. No, and I'll tell you why, because we already failed. He couldn't have been more direct. I would never try plural marriage again. His voice was edged with frustration, his words sharp, almost crude. He made it crystal clear he's no longer in the headspace for plural marriage, no longer interested in pursuing another woman, and not willing to sign up for what he now sees as endless emotional chaos. I don't want the headache, he declared. I'm not in that space. Still, Kody softened just enough to acknowledge that his plural life gave him one thing he would never regret: his children. They were, to him, the only blessing from a journey that ultimately collapsed. Robin's take mirrored Kody's in many ways. though her tone carried a different kind of sorrow. She admitted that she too no longer believed plural marriage was in the cards for her, but unlike Kody, she hadn't entirely closed the door. Instead, she expressed mourning, not for a failed marriage, but for a life she never got to live. "I had a different plan for my life," she said, voice cracking with disappointment. "I was going to live in a plural marriage. I was going to be part of a big family. That's been taken away from me." She wasn't angry, she was grieving the loss of her dream. Still, Robin made one thing very clear. She would always choose Kody. She was rooted in what they had now, even if it wasn't what she'd imagined. And Robin and Kody aren't alone in leaving plural marriage behind. Christine has completely rewritten her story. She's since remarried, and her glow is unmistakable. Standing beside her new partner, David Woolley, Christine appears to be living proof that healing is possible, that joy can come after decades of heartbreak. She's gone on record to say she was never truly suited for polygamy, that monogamy was always where her heart belonged, and now she has it. A simple, devoted, two-person love that she calls peaceful, a stark contrast to the turmoil she endured under Kody's household rule. The Brown family saga, once centered on unity, faith, and the grand experiment of plural marriage, is now scattered into solo journeys marked by survival, reinvention, and emotional reckoning. Each ex-wife has told her truth. Kody has defended his version. Robin has wept for the dream that slipped through her fingers. And viewers, once drawn to the novelty of a plural household, now find themselves watching the final embers of what was once a roaring fire. The legacy of Sister Wives is no longer about polygamy, it's about the aftermath, the damage, and what, if anything, comes next. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates like this every day.